On World Media Day, President Ilir Meta has called to put an end to political pressure exerted against journalists, while the US Embassy in Tirana raised the concern that the media in Albania are being violated and used by the political class. About 62% of youth do not believe that political parties can solve problems such as unemployment or poverty, but despite their lack of confidence, 50% of them declared they will take part in the vote. 4 companies will build multi-storey buildings on properties currently owned by the municipality of Tirana on the proviso that 40% of the construction is offered back to the local government. It's 6 o'clock on Friday, the 3rd of May 2019. Good evening and thank you for tuning in to RTV Ora's English edition. My name is Alexandra, bringing you the only daily update of the local Albanian news translated into English. Albania is ranked 82nd in the world in terms of media freedom, according to a report released by Reporters Without Borders, placing the country 7 positions lower than compared to the previous year. With today marking World Freedom Day, the President of Albania, Ilir Meta, raised the concern over journalism in our country being less free and independent. He's seeking to put an end to government institutions conducting meetings behind closed doors without the presence of the press. Our press today, also according to the above-mentioned organisation, is less free and independent. The media is attacked with aggressive and threatening rhetoric. Cases of violence exercised against journalists have become frequent and are increasing, and the attempts to use public funds in order to control freedom of speech are alarming. While wishing you well on this World Day, I would also like to invite you, without wasting any time, to unify your stances and positions, to stay away from self-censorship, to openly denounce violence, blackmail, pressure, hate speech and intimidation exercised upon you, and also the inadequate working conditions you are forced to function under. The change is in your hands, and it begins from spreading real information without waiting any longer to have politics or its clientele groups hinder freedom of speech and expression. You will triumph because Albanians cannot go back in time 30 years to listen to the voice of America or Deutsche Welle so that they can learn and figure out what is happening in their homeland, said President Meta. Meanwhile, the US Embassy in Tirana, in a meeting with journalism students at the University of Tirana, called on journalists to challenge political pressures by telling the truth. Journalists expressed concern about political pressures in the country. It's a challenge to be free media because the conditions are not ideal, said Lufti Dervishi. Some parameters have shown deterioration. Attacks on journalists and the insulting discourse of the Prime Minister reveal a hostile relationship with the media, said Mark Marku, a professor at the Philosophy and History faculty. The report also notes that around the world, 10 journalists have been murdered since January of this year. According to the report by Reporters Without Borders, it is said that 3 of the journalists who have been killed were in Afghanistan, 3 in Mexico, and others in Ghana, Honduras, Libya, and the United Kingdom. Celebrating their 20th anniversary, the Audiovisual Media Authority organised an international scientific conference together with the Department of Journalism at Tirana University, during which they discussed the media market, audience behaviour and regulatory framework. The conference was attended by representatives of academic life as well as representatives of the Albanian Parliament, who gave their opinions about the functioning and role of AMA, as well as the media in our country. AMA Chair Genji Salai said that the authority has spent energy on issues of frequency and trial processes, and that law and the public have been betrayed in regards to the protection of children. However, Salai appreciated the fact that the authority was introduced in a normal way. Present at the conference was a representative of the Assembly, Vasilika Husi, who shared some of the challenges audiovisual media faces before demanding more commitment to protect children's rights. Representatives of academic life appreciated the support of AMA for research projects in the journalism department, adding that it is the only case where a public institution with a modest fund cooperates with the public university. Unemployment, poverty and education are the 3 issues that concern youth the most, but a whopping 62% of them think that none of the political parties are open to addressing these problems or cooperating with them. This message that needs to be understood by political parties is for them to be more open with young people, to have specific programs for young people and programs addressing youth concerns, said Altin Hazizai, the General Director of the CRCA. The data was presented by the Centre for the Protection of Children's Rights at the first National Youth Summit. However, despite their lack of confidence in their political options, 50% of young people said they will express their opinion through voting in the elections. The survey's non-participation rate was 25 to 30%. We had expectations that it would be higher. We are happy that young people, despite the political crisis and the situation, continue to be confident that their country will succeed in developing a solution, said Hazizai. The survey was completed by over 600 young people from 12 districts across the country. 50% of respondents think that their problems are not properly addressed, while 57% of them think that the municipality does not work in collaboration with the youth. 55% of the youth surveyed think that the budget for the youth in the municipality is not enough, and 62% think that no political group is open to addressing problems and cooperating with young people. The murder of the former Socialist MP, Fatmir Genji, 10 years ago in the yard of his apartment was commemorated in Roskovets today. Despite the significant time that has passed, it is still unknown as to the assassin's identity. His son, who holds a seat in the Albanian parliament, repeated the call to bring the perpetrator to justice for the crime. It has been 10 years and justice has not yet spoken its word. I call on the institutions to uncover the perpetrator of the event as soon as possible, stated Anduel Genji. The leader of the Socialist Party's parliamentary group, Talont Balla, promised today that the new justice system will uncover the mystery surrounding the murder. Talont Balla called the event, which occurred on May 3, 2009, as an attack against the opposition they represented and did not hide his disappointment in the reactions of the institutions at that time. When colleagues came to Roskovets on May 3, 2009, we were very sad because one of the best people in our parliamentary group had passed and we couldn't understand why. We have not forgotten Fatmir Genji. We are very sorry that the institutions of that time did not react to solve the case. I join Anduel Genji's call. New justice will unveil this issue and the perpetrators will be punished, said Balla. At a time when the country is in the midst of a political crisis, the Socialist group leader raised the last political wish of Fatmir Genji. One of the last political wishes of Fatmir Genji was for cooperation in Parliament. He said, Albania does not need battle but cooperation between political parties. At the ceremony held for this occasion, attendees included family of Fatmir Genji, citizens and local leaders. In today's City Council meeting, the municipality of Tirana decided to allocate some of its properties for development to 4 construction firms. In return for the land, Mayor Erion Veliai explained that 40% of the construction must be offered back to the municipality to be used for social housing needs. Veliai also touched on the political climate, expressing that the majority are content with themselves, adding with conviction that the SP will win 61 councillors in the capital. Another proposal that won the vote of the left members was for the opening of the Kadare Museum in the former home of the well-known writer. The old beach on the Vlora coast is set to be a literal black spot this tourist season. Just a few days before the opening of the tourist season is set, the situation of Vlora's beach remains grave. The sewage pouring into the sea did not do much to serve for a solution to this problem. It remains one of the most polluted beaches in the country, as confirmed by environmental agency reports for years. The old beach was once one of the areas frequented by citizens, but for years, locals and tourists alike have been warned to stay away. Vlora municipality says there is a project for the total rehabilitation of the sewage network in this area, but that they are awaiting approval from the federal government for the project, which they expect to solve this problem for the coming years. Vlora has a sewage network, but it does not yet extend to the area of the old beach. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join us again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of RTV Ora, thank you and good night.